Alright, this is Computer Science 2020 Section C, the programming. We're looking at Part A. So this question is all about password strength, and the code is used to measure the strength of any given password. So first two things before you even start looking at the code. On line 2, enter your exam number. So again, obviously enter your real exam number. I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because I don't have an exam number. And then you want to save the file in the format that they give you, which is your exam number, question 16 underscore A. Okay, so now we can actually begin. So, it says the program is designed to calculate and display a score that indicates the strength of a password entered by the user. The variable score, which is here on line 26, now, is used to store the strength of the password. This variable is initially set to 0, and additional points are added based on the following rules. So, number 1, the password contains more than 7 characters plus 5 points, contains at least 1 lowercase letters plus 1 point, and contains a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters plus 5 points. A sample run of the program is shown below. Now, always run the sample that they give you, just ensures that the code is working as intended. So they put in sunshine and they get back a score of 6, what we get back. So the code is working as it's intended to. Okay. So part 1 then says to insert a comment to say initialize score in an appropriate location in the program. So initialize score is going to be wherever the score is set. And as I've kind of mentioned already, the score is set here because this is the first mention of the variable score. If you read the program from the top, it's the first mention of the word score in the code. So that's going to be where the score is initialized. So initialize score. And then also what I like to do is, and I think it's a good habit to get into, is if you also just flag it for the examiner, right? This is my answer to part 1. But it makes it clear for them and it's easier for when they're marking it. So that's part 1 done. That was 5 marks. Very easy 5 marks to get. So part 2 then is, says amend the program so that it displays 2 lines of output as follows. The first line will display the word password, followed by the password that was entered by the user. And the second line will display the word score, followed by the calculated score for that password. So first we're going to go down here to where it prints the score. I'll flag this as my answer to part 2. Okay. So what they want is they want the word password with a colon, followed by whatever the password is that's entered. And then they also want us to print the word score, followed by the score. And then if we run that, we should get, password sunshine, score 6. That's exactly what we want. So that's part 2 done, and that was also another 5 marks. Part 3 then says, currently in the program, the uppercase letters are hard-coded as the string A, B, C, D, so on. So that is this string here. And replace the use of this string with a variable in a manner similar to that used to represent lowercase letters. The output of the program should not be changed, and you should name the variable upper underscore case underscore letters. Okay, so what they want us to do is they want us to copy what they've done up here essentially. So they want a variable called uppercase letters equal to this string here. So I will just cut and paste that in. And then we just change this to uppercase letters. Okay, and this is my answer to part 3. And so is this. Just put it in anywhere where you change the code again, just so it's absolutely clear to the examiner or to the corrector. Okay, and then if we run the program, it should not change. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, so that's part 3, and that was also another 5 marks. So part 4 then, implement a new rule, rule 4, so that the score is increased by 2 points if the password contains at least 1 uppercase letter. Okay, so we'll follow the trend of the code already given, right, and we'll just put in, okay, so we have rule 4 / also our answer to part 4. So and if it contains at least one uppercase letter. So you see here, rule 2 says, right, if lowercase score is score plus 1. Okay. So up here, right, it says so if character in lowercase letters. So if there's a character in the password that is contained within this string here, right, set lowercase to true. Okay. So by saying, right, if lowercase, what that means in Python is, right, if lowercase is the same as saying if uppercase is true, or sorry, if lowercase is true or equals true, that's the same thing. So we just copy that logic, right? So if we do if uppercase, so if uppercase is true, score is equal to score plus 2. That's all it is. And then if we enter sunshine with a capital S, we should get 13. And we do. Okay, so that's fine now. So that's part 4 done. Also another 5 marks. Part 5 then is to implement a new rule, rule 5. So the score is increased by 5 points if the password contains at least one digit, any integer in the range 0 to 9. So rule 5 / answer to part 5. Okay, so for this we're going to need to do a bit of editing up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new string here, right, called digits. And that string is going to be the numbers 0 to 9. Okay? Sorry, we're talking about part 5. And then we'll do the same thing down here as well. So if, sorry, actually, I also will need one here called, I'll call it digit. We'll set it to false, like the other two. Answer to part 5. Okay, so then if character in digit equals true. Okay, so that's the same thing again they've already done. We're just kind of, I guess, yeah, copying the logic and changing it a bit. So then down here we'll have our, so if digit is true, score is equal to score plus 5. So then if we enter 3 sunshine, we should get a score of 18, which is exactly what we guessed. Okay, part 5 done. That was 10 marks, because there's a bit more work there involved compared to the rest of the parts. Part 6 says implement a new rule, rule 6. So the score is increased by 1 point if the first character of the password is a digit, 1 point if the last character is a digit, and 2 extra points if both the first and last characters are digits. So, rule 6, answer to part 6. Okay, so what we're going to do here, so if password 0, so password 0 with those square brackets, right, that is going to get me the first character in the password string. Remembering that the first index in either a string or a list in Python is an index 0, not index 1. Okay, so if password 0 is in digits, score is equal to score plus 1. Okay, if, now normally with Python logic, right, you would go if else, right? The reason I'm using 2 ifs here, right, is because I want both of these things to be true at the same time, or have the possibility to be true at the same time. So like, for example, I'll continue first, right? So password -1 will give me the character at the end of the string. If that's in digits, score is going to be score plus 2. If I was to change this to an elif statement, right, that means that only one of these two things can be true at any one time. But we want possibly for both of them to be true. So we change it to elif, or to 2 ifs, sorry. Then we want a third if that says if password 0 and password -1. sorry, if password minus 1 in digits, that should say. Password minus 1 in digits and password minus 1 in digits. Score, sorry, that should be a 1 and this needs to be a 2. And then the password we get is 3 sunshine 7 should give us 22, which it does. Perfect. So that is part 6 done, and that was 5 marks. Okay, then part 7 is to implement a new rule, rule 7. So the score is reduced by 10 points if the password contains only digits. Okay, so contains only digits. So thinking about this, right? So if it contains only digits, right? It contains no letters, so no uppercase or lowercase letters. So what that means is that, right, both of this will be true, but both of these two will be false. So we need a logic statement that, I suppose, goes for that scenario. So what we want is if digits. So if digits means if digits is true. And not lowercase. So, and not lowercase means that, okay, lowercase is false, and not uppercase. So if digits is true and not lowercase, so lowercase is false and not uppercase, and if uppercase is also false, we want to reduce the score by 10. So score minus 10. So if we enter the password 1234, we should get minus 1. Oh, sorry, that should be digit, not digits. 1234 minus 1. Perfect. So that is part 7. 2 lines, very straightforward, and that was 5 marks. So part 8 then, the final part, is to change rule 1. So the score is adjusted according to the password lengths as shown in the following table. So greater than 7 characters plus 5 points, from 4 to 7 characters plus 2 points, and less than 4 characters minus 2 points. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to comment both of these lines out just to keep them there. So what I'll do is I will do rule 1 / answer to parse 8. So we're talking about the length of the password, right? So if the way you measure length of something in Python is you use len. If len password, so if it's greater than 7, so greater than 7, we are doing plus 5 points. Oh, score is equal to score plus 5. Okay. Now elif, because we want one of these things to be true, not multiple. So elif length of password is between 4 and 7. So from 4 to 7, so we're including 4 and 7 here. So it's greater than or equal to 4. And then password is less than or equal to 7. Then we want to increase the score by 2. Score plus 2. And we can use else, because if it's not greater than 7 or greater than 4, it has to be less than 4. Then we say score is equal to score minus 2. Okay. So that is part 8, and then they give us this big long table of password leaking tests. So sun minus 1, oh, it gives me 6. Also made a mistake there somewhere. Is length password is less than, sorry, that should be greater than 7 for our first thing. Let me see if that was the problem. That was the problem. Okay, there we go. So sun -1. Okay. Then capital S, give me 6. Sun 2 should give me 9. 2 sun 3 should give me 12. Yes. And then one from earlier, 3 sunshine should give me 19. And 3 sunshine 7 should give me 22. There we go. So the code is working as intended. That is the last part of the question done, and that was 10 marks. So yeah, hopefully this video has been helpful for you in understanding this question. And yeah, you can hopefully give it a go by yourself. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone.